How does Rima stay in shape? She goes to the jungle gym. What's going on today, and welcome to my comic book editions video where I'm going to unbox a $20 haul from Kadia. Thanks for joining me. Today's video is kind of a throwback to a video that I did last year, right around this time. It was Comic Book Editions Volume 158. I took $20 and some odd change and ordered from Kadia when they were having their Prime Day sale, which tied in with Amazon's Prime Days, which happened last month. I thought, well, let's do it again today. I did shop on Amazon for Prime Days and had about 20 bucks left in the budget to spend over at Kadia, so $20 and change is what we're going to find inside of today's package that we'll unbox. Welcome to our video once again, and if you're not subscribed to my channel, I hope you take this opportunity to do so. The algorithm goes crazy and loves it when you give this video a thumbs up, a heart, and a like, and I love reading your comments. They're always welcomed, encouraged, and appreciated. The theme, this spend $20 and see what you can get, kind of was inspired last year for me by my friend, Library of Comics. He likes to take $20, go to a comic store, and come out with a bunch of great books. And what I like about him is he loves getting a bunch of books. If he can get like 50-cent books, that's awesome to him. Comic books are great comic books, regardless of how much they cost, if they're keys or if they're not keys. Good books are good books. And that's what this reminds me of. Let's unbox what I got today and let you judge to see if I did well with the 20 bucks and change that I spent today at Kadia. I'll show you the books after you come out of fast forward mode. All right, I got my packing slip. The first thing that I'm going to show you, before you guys get way too excited thinking that, oh, I got something to tease Ryan about right now. This was a free book that I got because Kadia is very generous and offers you the chance to choose from free books when you order from them. This is My Little Pony. Season 10 starts here. I think this was like a free comic book day. Yeah, it was a free comic book day giveaway. I am not a brony. I do have a friend who is a brony, though, and that's cool. No problems with that. This is not for me. This is for my friend's daughter who loves My Little Pony. So I had the opportunity to get her a comic book that I don't think she has that I think that she would love. And so I took advantage of that. So this one's not staying in the collection. Tease away if you must, but it isn't mine. Promise. This book, I can't show you. I'd love to show you because there's some characters on here that I really enjoy. It's a book I already have in my collection, but the reason I can't show it to you, it's an A-OK to someone that watches my channel and my videos. So I don't want to spoil it ahead of time. But this is in amazing condition too. And I am excited to be handing this off to someone. So enough with the teasing and the stuff that I can't show you. Something I can show you. Now, does this surprise you that I got New Wave issue number 5? This came out in 1986. So here's the deal. I'm mostly a DC and Marvel collector. But when I was a childhood collector in the mid-'80s, I was experimenting a little bit with some different types of publishers. And I remember Eclipse Comics published New Wave. And I bought it just to try it out. It was like 50 cents, and it came out bi-weekly. So every 2 weeks there was an issue out. And I remember really enjoying it. Outside of that, I don't remember anything else about the title. It's a group title. I as you probably noticed, I kind of am drawn to some of the group titles. It's a group title. I want to go and reread this title at some point in the future. I don't know if it'll be the near future or not, but some point in the future, I want to go and reread this. I was missing issue number 4. I don't know why I was missing issue 4. I had 1 through 3 and 5 through 12. It did run 13 issues, so at some point I still have to pick up issue 13. But I want to sit down and reread these all at once. These are pretty thin books too, so they'll go pretty fast. Literally remember none of the characters. Although one of the characters, the one here in the green, she reminds me of Rogue. But is that just because she's kind of drawn similar to Rogue? Do you get Rogue vibes from her? One of the writers of this series was Mindy Newell. who, of course, I remember from being involved in Wonder Woman Volume 2. So this will be a future read at some point. I ended up getting this book for under $1. I should add, too, that New Kadia had, 33% off and free shipping. So that was their big Prime Day special. So for less than $1, literally less than $1, I'm like, yeah, I'm getting this book because I needed to get it at some point. It cracks me up when I see this book sometimes being listed for like $6. Trust me, it's not worth that, at some online retailers that are just overinflated with their price. This next book has been a want, and I've had the opportunity to buy this book a couple times, but every time that I find this book in the wild, the condition just isn't that hot on it. This is Super Team Family, Volume 1, Issue number 7. We have this Jack Sparling and Vince Coletta cover that features the Teen Titans, the original Teen Titans, and the Doom Patrol. This is for my Teen Titans collection. I did not realize this, or if I knew this, I had forgotten it until, I think earlier today is when I found out. These are reprints inside. I thought these were new stories because I do have some Super Team Family books that have new original stories in them. But then I also should remember that the very first Super Team Family, which I showed in a previous comic book editions video that I got at a comic show, a while ago, that was a reprint book too. But these are reprints. So Teen Titans Volume 1, Issue 31 is reprinted in here. And then Doom Patrol Issue 86. So Doom Patrol Volume 1, Issue 86. That was the first issue after they changed it from, what was the title, My Greatest Adventures, into the Doom Patrol title and continued the numbering from My Greatest Adventures. That was the first issue 86. So that's reprinted in here. I think I have issue 87 of an original of that, but I'm looking forward to, in the case of the Teen Titans, rereading the story, and the Doom Patrol probably reading the story for the very first time. Wanted this for my Teen Titans collection. I have the entire Volume 1, just working on some guest appearances that they made in other titles from the original team, the Silver Bronze Age guest appearances that they made. There's just a few of those issues that I was missing, and this is one of them. And they had it in such nice condition. Like I said, never had a problem finding the book. It was just finding the book in a nicer condition like this one is. So I snatched it up. Up next. Oh yeah, we have Rima, the Jungle Girl. So I think Rima is pretty freaking awesome. We're at 1974 right now. Not only does Joe Kubert do the covers for the Rima series, I didn't know this either, or if I knew this, once again, I forgot. Joe Kubert was the editor of the Rima series. This lasted, I think, 8 issues? No, 7 issues. 7 issues this entire series lasted. And this is obviously one of the ones that I've been missing out. Last time I showed a Rima comic book was on my Comic Book Editions Volume 174 video. And I remember what an interesting story that was, because in that issue, this bratty kid had been, essentially hurting the jungle animals. And he sets a fire, and as he's trying to escape from this fire, he gets eaten by a crocodile, and Rima doesn't stop the crocodile or anything. She's like, he kind of deserved it. So I first knew of Rima, the Jungle Girl, from her appearances on the Super Friends cartoon. She only made 3 appearances, though. I have to tell you, it felt like a lot more. Maybe she just made that much of an impression to me. And she appeared on the Super Friends cartoon after this series wrapped up. So besides getting Rima issue number 4, I ended up getting Rima issue number 5. And I think this is a pretty awesome cover. Once again, Joe Kubert. Besides the Rima stories, there is a backup feature, which is so weird to put this in there, I always thought. And I'm not so much big on the backup stories, but it's Space Voyagers is the name of the backup stories. So you go from very primitive jungle into like a futuristic space type thing. I mean, the audiences for both of them just seem so polar opposite. So I was kind of shocked that they ended up doing that. So originally, the first 4 issues of the Rima comic book were based on an old novel from the early 1900s, like in 1904. And I forget the name of the novel. Obviously, it wasn't something that I had ever read. And then they started with issue 5, just kind of doing their own stories. In issue 5, this one, Robert Kaniger is credited as writer, although I think he was uncredited the previous, at least issue number 4, if not other issues in this run too. Robert Kaniger is a very interesting writer. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. When it works pretty well. When it doesn't work at all. You've heard me talk about him and others in the YouTube comic book community. I seem to have a lot of Robert Kaniger in my collection, though. And now I have another one with this Rima comic book. This means I'm only missing one issue of Rima. And it's issue number 3. That's the only one that I'm missing. I posted last month, too, on my Instagram, the Marvel equivalent of Rima, which is Shauna, the Jungle Queen. I have issue 1, which is a nice key and kind of has a nice price. The Shauna series only lasted 5 issues, and I'm thinking I might want to start going after the other 4 of Shauna and see if I enjoy them. I kind of have to reread that one too. But the Rima stories I very much have enjoyed, and I didn't start picking these up, until I went to like a Heroes and Villains convention in Chicago right before pandemic. Or maybe a year before the pandemic or so. So it's been in the last few years that I started getting interested in these books. Not the easiest to find, at least for me, out in the wild. You can find issue number 1. Usually not a problem with that, but other issues, not the easiest to find. But happy to check this one off the list right now and have it in my collection. So $20 and change got you the 6 books that I showed today. How do you think I did? Do you have any of these books in your collection? Are you looking for any of them? Are you looking for any of them now? I'd love to dialogue about all of that and more in the comment section below. So leave me a comment. I will let you know I did have a Marvel book in my new Kadia checkout, and I ended up, even with the discount, I just thought it was, I don't know, it just financially didn't work out the way I wanted it to, but I'll even tell you what book it was. It was Marvel 2-in-1 issue number 3 with The Thing and Daredevil. And Black Widow also in the book too. I had that in my cart for the longest time, and I am having some trouble finding that one out in the wild, but didn't get it this time, but hopefully someday you'll see that in a future comic book editions video. My back issue of the week YouTube short is on my channel right now, and I hope that you'll check it out. 60 seconds about a back issue in my comic book collection, the details about it, and a little bit about the story, and sometimes you get to see a cool cover or two. Yeah, so check that out if you haven't already. That dropped yesterday morning. The greatest DC comic show on YouTube is Fanboys Live and the Retro Review with Signature King and Comic Food 2814. Join us this Sunday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. Here we are at the end of this comic book editions video. Thank you for making it all the way to the end. $20 and change for this new Kadia purchase today. I think I did good, and I'm looking forward to, I'm probably going to read both of those Rima comic books tonight. I'm just so psyched to finally get them. And I look forward to visiting with you next week with our next comic book editions video. Until then, take care and be well. See you soon.